Hey, welcome back. In this lesson, I've got a challenge for you, and that's to draw this StickMan figure and create it using JavaScript. So go ahead and pause the video here, and I'm going to be walking you through the solution, how to draw this figure coming. Now, so first of all, let's go into our editor and create a brand new file. And we can call this file stick.js. And then we're going to be linking to this file. So just call it stick.js. And then within the index, we'll link out to there from our main file page, stick.js, and do a refresh. So that brings us a blank area and a blank JavaScript file to work with. So the first thing that we always need to do is to set up our canvas object and selecting it from the web page. There's also a get element by ID that you can use as well. So you can use either one. So selecting the element on the page, and query selector as well can select the element. So a number of ways with JavaScript in order to make that selection. Next, we're using the canvas object and applying the get context. So this is going to allow us to use JavaScript in order to draw on the canvas. So let's start by clearing out, and so we've got the current canvas area, so this is 640 by 640. So we'll start by beginning a path and set up some fill colors. So let's do a fill style, and we'll do this as red. So let's start by creating the arc, so CXT arc, and this is going to be the outer circle for the character, for the character's head, and 300 by 300, and let's do a radius of 200, then math pi, and multiply it by 2. So save, and I'm also going to apply the stroke, so CTX stroke, so that we can see the content that's being drawn. And you can also apply the fill as well, so CTX fill. So that's the fill of the character's head. So he's got a fairly large head, so let's shrink that down a little bit. And we're also going to move it up so that we have more room for his body. And shrink it down another touch. And as well, I'm going to move it up. So that's our starting position, our starting head, and again, it's slightly down, so it's not touching right at the border. So there we've got his head, and we also need to add in the eyes. So CTX arc, and the eyes are just going to be drawn circles. So let's position the first one at the 200 from the left and 200 from the top. Do a radius of 40, starting angle of 0, and then using math pi, because we want these to be circles as well. And it looks like we got to move it over quite a bit, as well as move it up. And because we want to separate out the fills on those, we need to do another begin path. And we can save it. And let's make this quite a bit smaller, as well as we're going to move it up even more. And apply the fill. And for this path, we're going to be doing black. So there's our first eye. Let's do the second eye. So on the same y-axis, let's try doing at 350. We have that joining line, so to get rid of that, we need to move 2. So using the move to, and we need to provide the X and Y position of where we're moving. So usually the way that I usually do it is I set that first, and because it's within the fill area, we don't have to make the adjustment for the moving. You can if you want as well, so if you wanted to move it right off to the far side, then we just need to add the dimensions. Oops, actually it goes to the x-axis. So add in 70 or add in 20 points and move it over. So that will provide those clear circles. So in case you want to have them as clear circles, you can do that as well. So we've got our eyes for the character. We also want to create a nose for the character. So using move 2. And let's do a line for the nose. And this is going to be in the same center position. And we're going to start it at roughly around 250. And 370 by, and we're going to move it to 50. And where do we want to start? So start it at 280. So start it at 230. And let's subtract 100 off of it. So now we've got our line, 300 to 150. So we've got a little bit of a nose for the character. Also, let's create the mouth for the character. And we're going to do this with an arc as well. So CTX arc. And this arc is going to be somewhere down here at the bottom. So let's pick a starting position for it of 250 and 200. So let's do 60, 0, and this one is just going to be math pi. So we're not going to multiply it because we want to have a half circle for the mouth. And let's apply the move 2. I'm going to get rid of the fill because it's a little bit easier to understand where we're moving to. And we're also going to have to move the mouth up as well as over. So let's set this at 300. So it's exactly center to our object. And we'll move this up to 160 and try to do a refresh. So it looks like that's a good position for the mouth. And if we move it to 160, and if we subtract from 300 the 60 to get the side of the circle, that's going to bring us down to 340. So now when we apply the fill, this is going to give us a fill on the mouth. So next, let's do another begin path. And then we're going to move the starting point. So move this up. We're going to start the body around 300 because that's the center that we've been using. And then looking at where the original arc was, it was 130 by 100. So that means that this position is going to be at the 230. And then we can take and we can move the line down to 300 and do the stroke. So that's going to give us that stroke position in the middle there. And if we want to stop at where we want to draw the arms, let's move it up slightly. And we'll do the arms for the character. So now that we've moved the drawing position to the center part here, we can take that 270 and we can apply one arm. And then also let's do the other arm the other way. So this is going to be going down to 200. And now we need to move the line back, but notice that this one's slightly a little bit darker. So we can actually just redraw the line on top of this one, and this is going to move us back to that center position so that we can continue to draw the character's body. And that's going to be located at 300, and we'll move down to 350. And now we want to draw one leg coming out and the other leg coming out. And so we're already at this starting position. So let's do a CTX line. And we'll do it at 400 and as well for 400. So that's one. And now we want to take the move to, so we can go back up if we want, or if we want to angle the line even more, we can bring the leg down more, so slightly a little bit more. Let's do the move to. So we'll pick the pen up and we're gonna move to, we can either move to here or we could move to this corner position. So let's move the back to the 300 and 350, and then we'll do another line that's going to be going out, and instead of 400, this one's going to be at 200, the angle. So that gives us the two legs, and then we can complete the stroke. Let's also add in one more shape, and this is going to be the hat for the character. So this is just a triangle shape. So let's go back up and we're going to move again. So copy that and do a move 2. So we want to roughly move somewhere near the top here. So how about we do 200 and we'll try 50, see where that is. And then we'll do the line 2 and stroke. So starting at 200, we're going to go all the way, or starting at 250, we're going to move to 550. So that's going to give us a line across. I think that was a little bit too much. So let's do 450. And then from the 450, we want to move to 300 and we want to make a triangle shape. So 300 to 200. And now we want to move from the 320 and move that back to the where we started the move position. So that will give us a full triangle. And if we do a CTX fill, that will fill that shape. And it will also fill this shape. So that's unintentional, and that's because we did the move. So the way to solve that is to create another new path. And this also gives us an opportunity to update the fill style. So let's give the character a blue hat. And that's it. So there we go. So we created our character all using JavaScript. And the purpose of this challenge was really just to get really familiar with moving and also starting new paths and how all of those paths work. So great job on making it through this challenge.
Familiar.